Welcome to Gamblin and Ramblin, our weekly show where we react and rant about the weekend in sports betting. I'm Tim Kalinowski. My co-host is Charlie DiSturco. You can follow us on the Action app, Action Network on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Action Network HQ, on TikTok and Twitter. You know by now. If you came here, you know by now. Charlie, Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a while. We didn't get our usual pre-production meeting in order because, we've been traveling a lot. But as you could tell, I'm in a new studio here. It's the Action Network studio, set to launch soon. This is the best you're going to get as far as a sneak peek until it all comes to fruition and launches. But I don't have the little earpiece and stuff in yet. But maybe soon enough, we'll get lucky enough.
Love it. Love it. And but before we dive in here, before we start, obviously, Damar Hamlin, he's in our thoughts and prayers. What we saw on Monday, obviously, so sad. It was brutal. And for us, it's like, hopefully you can come here, laugh, get your mind off it. I know a lot of people, it's like all we're doing is just refreshing Twitter and Instagram. So if one of these clips comes up today on your phone or you see, come to our show, hopefully we can just give you a distraction. That's what this kind of is for us. Just forget about it for a little bit. So with that, we're going to dive right into it. A lot of college football to talk about. We're not going to talk a lot of NFL because really there's not, we don't really, a lot is in the air. So we're just going to go with what we and we're called TCU. Well, that's enough for us to talk about. How was your New Year's? What'd you end up doing? The girlfriend, whatever. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it was great. Me and the girlfriend went out, got sushi at night, and just kind of hung in and watched the college football playoff. I got the iPad. She got the big TV. She watched, Anderson Cooper and all of them on CNN. I was sitting there watching Ohio State, but good enough for me, especially, at midnight, as the clock turned 12 for the East Coast fellas. The kick happened and Ohio State sadly lost. I was rooting for them heavily, but it was a great game. Great whole slate. I don't know what you did if you were watching at the same time like I was, but
yeah, I was telling you, we said it before or last week before, I don't remember, when I said this college football playoff this year with me and my girlfriend, she, love her to death, but it was going to be the boy who cried wolf college football playoff because the games have been garbage year after year after year. And you use your girlfriend points or your girlfriend karma, your courtesy, whatever you want to call it, and you say, look, no, we got to watch these games, and then she says, but they're over by this. So I knew it was at play. I gave her the night. She wanted to go out somewhere. I get it. She's not saying don't look at the games. She's just like, I just want to put makeup on and go somewhere. So I said fair. So we were watching the Michigan game at a bar. Or at a restaurant, and it was it's so hard to just walk in when you're at a restaurant. Like it's just it like you're watching, but you're not actually watching. It's fake watching.
And if you're watching, you usually are not listening, and then they're talking to you, and they're like, "Why are you not listening?" Or even my friends when I'm out at bars, it's like if I'm diving into a bet and I'm locked in, they say 10 words to me, I don't respond to them. They like laugh and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm locked in, and that's usually how things go. And it's so hard in a controlled environment or not controlled environment.
I hate to be that person, but like sometimes I bring the AirPods with me, like, and I just throw one in, and it's just like on the side. It just kind of like
guy.
Because I would rather listen than watch. I just need to kind of hear them, be like, and that was like pass interference, whatever. Because if you're not watching, the whole listening's a lot easier, and you can still kind of be engaged. Like the guy that's like listening to music as he's out to dinner it's like a pretty disgusting move, but I feel like if you have one AirPod for like Chris Fowler on very, very low, I feel like that kind of slides.
It reminds me of the dysfunctional family that where you see like one of the kids just like full blown AirPods in, like on his phone like this, just not listening to the family discussion, like scarfing down his chicken scarpolino or whatnot. But I've never done that before. Usually I'm more of a watch, not listen type of guy. Like it's not easy to focus, but like I don't like some of the commentators sometimes, and especially national television, it's easier. But like when you're watching or like pulling up a stream of like the home team calling a college basketball game or whatever sport it is so hard to listen sometimes. I can't listen to the Hornets announcer because he's like, whenever like that.
Don't even get me started, dude. There's so many bad ones. It's so many
exactly.
Bad ones.
So I'm more of a watch without the volume type of guy, or like have it up and kind of like against my water so I can still have a conversation, but every now and then I look down see what's going on, look back up, you know.
But it's a sport. It's a sport in of itself. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of multitasking.
It's an experience thing too. You have to have a very good feel for how long it takes in between plays. Like, oh, TCU moves at a quicker pace. You kind of have to. They're a quicker look. Michigan goes slow. Like maybe you have a little more time. Like that's a seasoned sports watching vet type of situation. You can't just get thrown into that.
No, that's not something that you pick up overnight. That's something that you take years and years to listen and learn, and you know how it all goes and watching enough college football. And we've gotten our TCU watching in because we've been against them how many times?
We might as well be season ticket holders.
Right, exactly, with the amount of times that we've watched them play. But I was happy. I had TCU +8, so it was a great game to watch, though Michigan probably deserved to win. 2 pick sixes and a fumble at the one on a questionable little call.
How many times can we say TCU didn't really deserve to win? Like, you of all people, stop. Don't even say like Michigan probably deserved to win. Like, why say it? You know that's like, even if it might be true, it can't be true.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe they. I mean, you know what? Hopefully they beat Georgia, because I don't know about you. I don't know if there's a team on this earth that every fan of Georgia loves Georgia, but everybody else hates Georgia. For me, it comes from Stetson Bennett. Like, the dude's 25 years old and is crying on the field after Ruggles misses a field goal. It's like, bro, you're my age. Like, you've been playing in the D1 facility for 5-6 years. Of course you're gonna be decent at football. You guys get open all the time. Like, come on, brother. Like, I don't know why you're breaking down crying when you're the number one team in the country. Like, you go out there with some class. Go out there and like win the game and not have to do it by winning on a game-winning field goal after Ohio State didn't have Jackson Smith in the chip up, or even Harrison in the second half because of the concussion.
Aside from someone who has like done something like, criminally wrong or like heinous, Stetson Bennett is like the hardest feel-good story guy to root for. Like, right? He's the hardest, great, like the feel-good, JUCO, back to Georgia, homegrown, brings them a national championship. He's like the hardest that guy to root for because there's just something about him that just, like you said, rubs me the wrong way. Like, yeah, he's kind of a square,
He's a plain bagel. You go to the store and you order something. You don't order just a plain bagel all the time. You got to get something else. And Stetson Bennett doesn't have that personality, that flavor, right? Okay, cool. He came back. He won the national championship last year. Great story. But he's back this year somehow for like his 17th season. He's like the Perry Ellis of college football. Yep. And then now he's like not even like the villain trajectory of like a Grayson Allen, because at least Grayson Allen was always hated. He's just like boring and hard to root for.
Yeah, I know he is. He's something about him. And I wanted to mention this because I know no one really cares, but I take you guys know, you and our producer Hutton, I take my bull pick'em pretty seriously. And I figured it's like 94 people in it. I figured I'd be the way to separate myself, because the games with the most points that matter are the semifinal national championship. So I figured, look, I'm pretty good at this. Say I'm sitting in like 9th place. I'm going to need something to separate me. So before, the picks are due before all the games even start. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take Ohio State to win the Natty. So I'm going to take them to beat Georgia and then either avenge Michigan or TCU. And for that, and I would have won the whole pool. And now I was in first place going into the Georgia game, Ohio State game. So if I actually had just picked Georgia, I would have probably won the pool. But because I was already ahead of everyone else, but because I figured, I'm not going to be in first place, but I'm going to be like in the money. I need to separate myself. It was a smart play. It was a big nuts move, but it was so sharp
that it ended up being square. That was your
that's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, you were so close to making a big brain move, but it ended up being the square move because you're losing now.
Right? Like, in what way did I think I'd be in first place and not need the help of zigging while everyone zagged? In what? Who fills out a bracket like that and is like, oh, I'm going to be in first place by then? Like,
to be fair, Ohio State deserved to win that game. Like, they were objectively the better team. It was such a heartbreaking loss just as a fan of watching football, and like seeing CJ Stroud is that dude. Like, that that game like basically sold me on just like how good he is and how good he is compared to like a Will Levis or a Bryce Young. Like he's that guy.
Oh, I still don't. Oh,
you don't think so?
Oh, you a fool! How many Ohio State quarterbacks you watch?
He's better than Will Levis and Bryce Young. Will Levis is horrible. Bryce Young is built like a stick.
What are you talking about?
You like Will Levis?
No, Will Levis can
dissemble. Okay. I was about to flip.
Like, in the nicest way possible. Get Will Levis out of here. Mayo drinking weirdo. Anyway, Bryce Young. Bryce Young is that dude.
I don't know if Bryce Young is that dude. Because, like, listen, we always say it, and like obviously the Kyler Murray was the whole short thing, and he proved you kind of otherwise on like, oh, if he can make it out as an NFL quarterback. Bryce Young gets one hit from a 350-pound Myles Garrett off the end. But I don't know if he's getting up.
He's so slick. He doesn't get hit.
CJ Stroud reminds me of like, it's a hard comparison because like it's like, oh, Ohio State, but like Justin Fields, if Justin Fields was a better passer, kind of reminds me of what CJ Stroud is.
No, CJ Stroud cannot run in the same stratosphere.
Okay. This past year, Justin Fields made a different level, but when he was coming out of college and everything that we saw, like CJ Stroud looked and was able to maneuver out of the pocket and looked great.
Yeah, I feel like it was one more designed type of stuff, like get him away from that run.
Like Justin Fields has to run because Justin Fields cannot be a quarterback in the NFL if he's not for his legs. He's basically a running back that like stands in the back and has an arm. He has a good enough arm to be a quarterback, just is not accurate enough and frankly isn't that good in the pocket. But CJ Stroud is both, I think. Like he has the ability and the athleticism to run and the pass. Maybe I'm being sold on just what happened in this last game, but
oh my God, Charlie,
looks so good.
We just talked about how we're like seasoned football watching vets, and then you do that. This is like, look, we always do. How much prep do we do for the show? Do we do prep? Do we not do prep? This, like, I'm an anti-prep guy. This is why we should probably do prep, because I had no idea you were going to say this, and we should have blocked off another 30 minutes of time.
I'll retract my statement on the Fields comparison because he's not as elite as a running quarterback as Justin Fields is. But he has the athleticism and legs to be able to maneuver out of the pocket. He's got the strength on Bryce Young as far as like built as a quarterback prototype. And I think he might be better in the pocket. I don't know. I go back and forth. I saw what he did last week with obviously still Division I athletes, but he didn't have Marvin Harrison for the second half, and he didn't have Jackson Smith-Njigba at all. And Bryce Young had his entire cast of them all season long. And one guy was in the college football playoffs with a chance to win if it wasn't for a missed field goal. And the other guy was beating the hell out of Kansas State, who can't pass the football.
Okay. Well, I would argue with you all day. And, unfortunately, we can't do that. But I mean, we should just do a bonus show where we just argue about. We should do like a draft show where we just argue about quarterbacks. I think that'd be. We can just together poop on Will Levis because I don't know how that guy's a top 15 pick. I agree with you there. And I will say, well, it's funny, like, you know, you said like the ball dropped when as like the field goal like missed.
Right.
I was with people who weren't really used to the whole Tim's crazy about sports thing, and they're all doing the like we're back in an apartment by now, and people are doing the New Year's kiss and the this and the happy. And I went outside on the porch and I was just sitting there like overlooking the skyline, just with my head in my hands. Like and my girlfriend sitting there like, yeah, he does this. And they're like, who's your boyfriend?
Did you kiss her for New Year's at least at the ball drop?
No, we never got to.
Oh, Tim.
We never got to.
You used all your girlfriend points to be able to watch the football, or at least to have the game on the side, and you can't even give her that kiss.
Tell Ohio State to get down the field and get closer for the stupid kicker.
No, that was mismanagement on the coach's part more so than
he mismanaged my New Year's kiss. He mismanaged my relationship.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're gonna be doing to dig out of that one. I was able to at least like hold in my anger. I had Ohio State +6, so I wasn't like upset about the outcome. I was just more upset that Stetson Bennett's crying on the field and happy. I wanted him to be sad on New Year's, but I still did enough to turn and kiss my girlfriend Happy New Year before I went back to the screen.
You know what's good for the relationship? Winning bowl pick'ems. Okay, that's what's good. Okay, I think that beats it.
Hey, money leads to like nice dates and happiness. I agree with that. But that's why you do what I do, and instead you just bet a lot of money on Ohio State +6. and then you don't even have to worry about them to win the game.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Verified Expert over here.
Yeah, well, a verified expert that is not doing well the past week, but I am eating up the college football at least.
Our producer Hutton just texted us a new show, Gamblin and Scramblin', or Ramblin' and Scramblin'.
Yeah,
Talking quarterbacks.
Gamblin, Ramblin, and Scramblin'. We break down quarterbacks, and I might be trying to scramble away from you after you're trying to wring my neck out for tripping you on this.
I know. I can't wait to see you in person next week because we could have this discussion in person. But since I've given up on basically our friendship with the way that went, is there anything? We talked about New Year's resolutions. I don't want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I want to talk about things that you might have had hope for in the new year, but that you've already lost all hope, all sight for, all pride, dignity, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I lasted about maybe a day, and I was like, oh, my teams will make me happy this year. The New York Jets needed to win out, and they most likely make the playoffs. Well, they get absolutely murdered by the Seattle Seahawks, and I kind of accepted the fact that the Jets are going to ruin me. The next season, they're going to ruin me. And the New York Mets, my favorite team in all of sports, they're going to ruin me too. Somehow find a way to lose in the playoffs. I don't know why I think every year, this season's going to be different. I kind of accepted the fact, and I've come to the hard conclusion, as you can tell by my not happiness of tone, that my teams are never going to make me happy, and I'm going to live a life of upset and anger and sadness.
New York fans sad. Brings a tear to my eye. You hate to see it. Yeah, I would never want to see that. Who wouldn't want to see it? Just such great fans, so kind, nice.
Yeah, you get tucked into bed with like 4 or 5 Super Bowl trophies because Tom Brady. Like, it's so aggravating. And then the Celtics can't lose, and the Bruins. Give me a championship. That's all I want. Is one championship. The Mets win the World Series. I could go 25, 30 years without another championship, even 50, 60. But that 1 year, man, my liver will never forgive me, and I will cry tears of joy instead of cry tears of sadness like I did when the Mets lost in 2015.
Unfortunately, I'm in a little bit of a similar boat. I've given up on Clemson. I was excited to see Cade Klubnik play in the bowl game against Tennessee, and then ringing in the Cade Klubnik era of next season, and they sucked. They sucked so bad. No hope, no fun. Like the thing about football, we know like the offseason's so damn long. Like, I'm not going to see this team play meaningful football till late August again. And I just have to sit with that taste in your mouth. Like the bowl games that aren't the playoffs shouldn't matter that much. But when you were trying and you were supposed to have something to be excited about, and the other team, half their team opts out, like you'd think, you'd think it should have gone like that.
Dude, I feel so bad for you. I half watched the game. I didn't really pay attention too much, but I was refreshing the app and stuff and just trying to see maybe Clemson will come back. And I see a lot of people on Clemson that I was friends with. Dude, that was brutal. I feel bad. I mean, listen, you could join the squad. You deserve some losses. Clemson's won a national championship before.
I know.
The Patriots are so good. You're being a little ungrateful, despite me feeling bad for you. You've had your success. Why don't I get some?
It's a little selfish, and I will say this: the thing about being a sports fan is you can't have it both ways. But it's like if the way the Patriots and Clemson have been losing is like through dysfunction in the coaching staff.
Yeah, I wonder how that feels.
Exactly, and it's like I'd rather just have them a walk-off pick 6 by Tennessee, and it's like, oh, we did everything we could. I know you can't have it that way every time, but that's what really sucks. That's the part I get kind of a little bit.
Yeah, it's dysfunction, but it's also just I don't know if I'd rather watch my team lose on a pick 6. Losing to the Patriots on the kickoff return for a touchdown feels better than losing and being dismantled by Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just complete coach mismanagement. The play calls were not good. The defense was not good. DK Metcalf did absolutely nothing, and the Jets lost by 20. It's just aggravating. It's something I'm used to. Both our teams are going to stink. So I guess, we can ride this together into sunset holding hands or something and make up after our argument earlier. Little bit of a agreement.
Yeah, misery loves company, right?
Yeah, exactly. But my next one on things I've given up already, and this one is a little bit, not as much sport heavy, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my shoulder healthy. I have like a labral tear, like right here in my shoulder
from watching football, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. From picking up weights and stuff like that. But got the injury last year. Was like, all right, I'm gonna do band exercises. I'm gonna maybe get surgery. Well, surgery takes too long, so I gave up on that. Then I was like, all right, maybe I'll do band exercises. New Year's resolution. I'm like, I'm gonna get to the gym. I'm gonna be healthy. I gotta get back into it. I hit the gym. I hit chest day. My shoulder's done. I've given up on me getting it healthy. I think I'm just gonna keep working out until I, can't move it, which is, I feel like that's kind of what some athletes do. They kind of play through their injuries. I'm gonna Jordan flu game this, despite having a hurt shoulder. I'll just a little bit less weight, or just go until my shoulder actually falls off. I'm built different. I can get through it. Something like that.
But yeah, it's me with my wrist. My wrist is like that. I've needed wrist surgery since the hockey career ended, and it's like it like goes away for a little bit, and then when it comes back, I'm like, okay, I really need it, and then you kind of like, well, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah, I was looking at the timetable. It was like 4 to 6 months, I think, or like 4 to 6 weeks before I even could like get my shoulder out of the sling, and like, like Gamblin Ramblin's not my only job. Like I do some producing. I can't just sit on there and be like, oh well, sports. I have to do some stuff in my hands. Yeah, I know. Once a week, it doesn't pay the bills. But yeah, I have to press all these buttons. I can't produce if I have a shoulder tear that I get surgery for. Someone's got to pay the bills. And like you said, with the whole bull pick'em makes a girlfriend happy. Well, getting money and having a job also helps in that aspect. And I can't be affording that, so I'm gonna have to trudge through it like some of the athletes that we, watch every day do with minor ankle injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're out here with a hurt shoulder trying to produce podcasts and stuff. Trying to produce video content. How do you do that?
Yeah,
how does one do that?
You can't. And listen, if players can play through ACL injuries and stuff like that, because wasn't there a Patriots offensive lineman that won the Super Bowl with it? At one point, he had an ACL tear. I could get through a labral tear and produce my shows. I could do the same thing. It's basically like tomato. Same thing.
Fair enough. And speaking of ailments, my last one here is, I have already quit. I'm trying to out tough the fact that I need glasses. I'm trying to out muscle my poor eyesight. So I didn't. I had to go to this like routine physical. They just checked like my eyes and my ears. It was, for this other thing I'm doing. And it was like, look, you just got to go. Oh, they check your eyes and your ears. You're in and you're out. So I go to this thing and I can't see. They had me like at the 50-yard line trying to read this board. And I'm like, they're like, read line 15. I'm like, can't see it. Read line 14. Can't see it. All the way to line like 4. I'm like, still can't see it. They go, I think you got to go get glasses. So now I won't go to get to the eye doctor because I don't want to start this process. I don't want to have to start getting glasses. I want to start getting contacts. And I'm like, I never noticed that I can't see. I thought that the things I couldn't see, everybody else just can't see. But we were at this restaurant the other night. I'm trying to watch the games on all the screens. I can't see the score of a single game. I'm suffering like a dog. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, hey, you see a score? And everyone's like, come on, man. I have the other side while you make it like jerk making me read the score. I'm like, no, I actually can't see it. They're like, you can't see that? I'm like, you can? I assumed all of us couldn't see this. So I've been trying to out tough my inability to see. And I think I'm gonna have to. I made an appointment. I'm going to the real eye doctor now.
Yeah, listen, man. Glasses aren't the end of the world, right? You still get contacts. The process of falling asleep with contacts in are probably not the best. I have great eyesight, so I can't really. But my dad he has glasses and stuff like that, and he doesn't have the great eyesight either. So I know how difficult it could be, but it's good that you're getting help. It's good that you're admitting that you need something and you're moving on. That shows growth and improvement.
I just have this hardest time believing everyone else can see what I can't because I used to have good sight. My biggest fear is that if I go to the eye doctor and he says, you wore them out watching football, that's my biggest fear. He says, says to me, look, you got to take some time off. Like, what do I do? The playoffs coming up.
Yeah, you tell him like I'll take time off in a month, and then you just or you just lie. You watch a couple games here and there, and then from what are you watching from February to March until March Madness? You don't have to watch college basketball all the time.
Doctors were invented for us to lie to them. So.
Exactly. Except I did start telling my doctor more things because I'm not that mature age. I'm getting to that point where I should probably be a little honest with everything that goes on in life. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to play doctor anymore, and if the wheel keeps spinning on my Wi-Fi here, I don't know if anyone can even hear me anymore. So that's it. We tried to make it a short show. Yeah, is this thing on? We tried to make it a short show. That obviously didn't work. We're gonna wrap it up. Be sure to follow us on the Action app and on Twitter, Action Network HQ. All those ways that you found us. I'm at TimmyCal12 on Twitter. Follow me in the Action app, Kalinowski12. Charlie, say what you need to say. Let's go home.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Gamblin and Ramblin without shows that are way too long and we go way over our allotted limit. So you can find me at DiSturco, Action app, and Twitter. That's it.
Yep, sure. Our producer loves us today. Great job, everyone. That's a wrap.